Hello YouTube, this is Dakota from Bowtied Media, and you may have called me Mr. Bowtied before, but it's official. You can call me Daddy Bowtied. Nope, I didn't like that. Nope, I was not a fan of that. But yes, it is true. My wife and I are now parents to a beautiful little girl, and I could not be more excited for it to happen soon because I'm recording this before she's born. But to kind of, I guess, not really honor, but to celebrate the birth of my first child, we are going to tier list some classic nursery rhymes. Before we go any further, I have made a tier maker tier list for this, and it will be in the link down below, so if you want to make your own tier list for this as well, I guess if you want to for some reason, you can do it in the link below. And also, I'm sure, depending on where you grew up, your nursery rhymes that you heard or listened to as a kid vastly changed compared to what I had. I grew up actually partially in Canada, partially in America, and so there's some stuff, obviously I know a lot of the like basic English ones, but there's also some weird, like I think French ones that I heard because I've got some Canadian childhood memories, but also some Spanish ones because of a little bit of the states that I lived in, and so we're gonna go through the ones that at least I remember, and I do know that nursery rhymes kind of always, I don't know if always, but I feel like a lot of times nursery rhymes like mean something like really, really like tragic, and they're just meant to like lighten up children's spirits. I don't actually know. I'm sure a lot of these have deeper meanings that I'm sure you will let me know in the comment section below. But other than that, we're probably just gonna go line by line essentially of each of these songs, and however I remember them and how much I like them, we're gonna tier list them. So here we go. First one we're going to start off with is Alouette or Alouette. I remember this one. This is a one I think that is, I think primarily because I grew up in Canada. I remember this like it's Alouette, Alouette, Jean de Plume, la tête, something like that. I don't actually remember the names. I don't even know what they actually are saying, but I'm assuming it's about a bird because the bird is on the cover of this one. But this is one that I think is pretty common with nursery rhymes where you they're like fringe nursery rhymes and you just remember like the main words. You don't remember anything else. And obviously nursery rhymes have not much to them, not many lyrics, but for the most part, it's kind of just like I remember the one word, or maybe like the first stanza, and that's it. You don't really remember the rhyme scheme or anything for it, but just ones that, aren't super memorable. So I'm gonna put this one in the C tier. I think the C tier is gonna be pretty much full of the not too memorable kind of fringe nursery rhymes. Then we've got Baa Baa Black Sheep, and Baa Baa Black Sheep I think is in a slightly above tier than Alouette because this is another one that I think a lot of people know, including myself, but don't really remember a ton from this nursery rhyme. And you kind of know the phrase, like the black sheep of the family, and so that's why you kind of remember the nursery rhyme to some extent, or at least the title or the words, but not one that I think really sticks with you. So this is one that I think is a little bit upper tier than like a basic fringe one, but I think a lot of I think primarily the Western kind of audience people know Baa Baa Black Sheep, but don't really know it. They like know of it, but they couldn't really do it off of the top of their head. So I'm sure this video is going to bring back a ton of memories for a lot of people, but I'm going to put this one in B tier. B for Baa Baa Black Sheep. That just feels right to me. Then we've got Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo. This is a fun one for me because I feel like I use this one every now and then where there's like a bunch of different options and you're like, hey, I got to pick some of these things at random. So you're just like, let's go for it. Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo. Can you talk about it? And you're just like just done. You pick something like that and it just feels like one that is still memorable, at least, that one that you can still remember to some extent, and maybe some people have different variations of how it ends or something like that, but this is one that I think it's stuck with me, at least. It's stuck with me, and I think it's stuck with a lot of people too, because it's just so easy, and it's one that can be still used in modern life to some extent, because why not? So this is gonna go in A tier. I think for the most part, A and S tier are like reserved for the ones that like you kind of just, everyone remembers to some extent, and you still at least know 90% of the nursery rhyme and don't hate it. So that's gonna go in A tier. Then we've got another one that is, I don't know if this is because I'm Canadian, even though this is like obviously very, very French, and this is just the French heritage, I guess, of Canada that it has, even though I'm not French at all in any capacity. I don't even know French, but Frere Jacques. Frere Jacques, I don't know anything about this one really at all. I don't remember this whole time. This is just, I just remember Frere Jacques, dormez-vous, Or maybe and then like I don't remember this one much. So I think this is gonna go with Alouette in the same one. I think I also might be mixing up Alouette and Frere Jacques a little bit. Just goes to show that I don't really remember this one a whole ton, and maybe I'm really gonna get hate from all you French people out there. So let me know if this one was like this one. If you live in France or any like I guess French speaking part around the world, is this one that you remember a ton? Because I don't really. Then we've got head, shoulders, knees, and toes. This is an interesting one because I was looking at the list of nursery rhymes and I was like, is this really a nursery rhyme? I'm like, is this really? And there's a couple more that'll come up later. Is this really a nursery rhyme? Because you go head, shoulder, knees, and toes. Like, what more is there other than heads and shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes, knees and toes, like head, shoulders, knees and toes? Like, is this just, this is, I think, more so than anything, just as a memory exercise for children, obviously, which a lot of nursery rhymes are. A memory exercise to just remember what your heads and shoulders and knees and toes are. So this is an interesting one for me that I'm gonna kind of put in B tier. I think don't care about this one too much. Then we've got Hey Diddle Diddle, and this is a weird one for me because I don't really remember this one at all other than just the phrase, the cow jumped over the moon, and something about a spoon, I think is the rhyme, a dish ran away with a spoon. This is one where, like, the title, when I saw this and it was like, I looked up, I was like, really popular nursery rhymes, and this one showed up as like one of the top ones. I'm like, what, really? This is a thing? And I feel like this is one that is just memorized or known from really just one line, and it's not even the title. And so this one to me, Diddle Diddle category is D category. That one has to go in D. Then we got Hot Cross Buns. Hot Cross Buns, I don't know if it's just you guys, but Hot Cross Buns was the one that I feel like if most people learned how to do play the recorder in school, I think it was in grade 6 or 7 for me that we had to learn the recorder. Like the very first song you learn is Hot Cross Buns. Like that is like, that it is the song, the most like basic musical song that you can possibly learn just to get a feel for children and their, just musicality of teaching music and how music works and knowing what a higher note is versus a lower note and a repetitive note. And so this one is one that I think actually is pretty good. And I like Hot Cross Buns. And Hot Cross Buns even has this like, you can like twist it and make it a little bit more like adult. Like you can make jokes about hot buns and stuff like that. So this is one that I think is an A tier for me for sure. Then we've got Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall and Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. This is one that I think a lot of people know different versions of or just different, just stories of what happened to Humpty Dumpty and the life lesson that you're supposed to, I guess, learn, which I don't really know what the life lesson of this one you're supposed to learn is. But Humpty Dumpty is another weird one for me where it's like, I remember the character of Humpty Dumpty and I know that he sat on a wall and I know he had a great fall. But other than that, I can't tell you anything from memory about Humpty Dumpty. So this one's going to go in B tier, I think. Then we've got Hush Little Baby. This is a very, very interesting one for me because I think many of you, I'm assuming many of you, actually, I don't know. I'm quite a bit older than I think a lot of you guys in the audience that watch this video. But I'll say that there's probably someone that's like 40 plus watching this and going, hey, no, you're whatever. But that's regardless. This song got repopularized a ton by Eminem. Eminem with the song Mockingbird and just taking that stanza of Hush Little Baby, Don't You Cry, and then turning it into this rap icon of a song. And then, oh my gosh, Tiesto and Dimitri Vegas and Like Mike did a remix of that, which was so bad. But Hush Little Baby is one that has a ton of popularity because it has been reused enough to become its own separate popular thing in culture now twice, essentially. So this one I think is going to have to be an easy A tier for me just because of the Eminem song, honestly. Then we've got I'm a Little Teapot, and as I just said that, this is a weird video. This is a weird video, right? Like doing a tier list of nursery rhymes. I know I'm a music channel, but like, this is weird. But regardless, I'm a Little Teapot, short and snout, whatever it is. But this is another kind of like, this is one that I remember more so than maybe some other ones, just because this has like obviously not a ton of lyrics to this one, not a ton of words. And this one's a pretty easily memorizable one that has like actions to it. You kind of do like, I'm a Little Teapot, and you kind of do the like arm here, and you like kind of like, that one feels like it's got a little bit more oomph to it as a nursery rhyme that I kind of remember more often than some other ones. So this is going to be an A tier for me, I think, for sure. So then we got Itsy Bitsy Spider, and this might be a maybe hot take, but this is S tier for me. S tier, Itsy Bitsy Spider went up the water spout, down came the rain, wash the spider out. I mean, it is iconic. This one to me is also has a lot of personal notes, I should say, because when I was pretty young, my nana, my mom's mom, actually used to like do things on our back to fall us asleep. Like she would do nursery rhymes and like do like little actions on our backs, or like either spell letters and we would have to guess what word she was spelling, or stuff like that. And so she would do this one all the time and do the actions of the Itsy Bitsy spider, and then like wash down the spout. And so this is one that I was like, yes, this is like brings back core memories. This is like an S tier ultimate fantastic nursery rhyme, and I hope you agree with me. This next one is a fun one because this is where I think maybe I learned only because maybe I'm American or because this is just kind of a thing in Latin culture, but the La Cucaracha song, which I didn't even realize was a nursery rhyme. I just know the stereotypical holding maracas going La Cucaracha, La Cucaracha, and then you no, I don't remember obviously any of it, but this is a fun one just because it's just like fun. Like it's just like a thing that I feel like a lot of people just know. I don't know if it's even like just stereotypical the point, but just like the mind picture or the mental image of having maracas and like saying La Cucaracha just feels very, I don't know. It just feels like it's ingrained in my head for, I don't know, a good reason or a bad reason or not. But this one is just kind of a fun one that I think a lot of kids just love because they can just like shake whatever they're holding in their hands and sing it. So this is another A tier, I think, for sure. Then we got London Bridge is Falling Down. This one, I think of all the list, might be one of the most popular ones, I think for sure. I think specifically with the kind of English European demographic, obviously with London Bridge is Falling Down. And this is another one that I think is probably a wartime nursery, would be my guess, World War I or II, just because, the notion of doing a nursery rhyme of the London Bridge falling down and it being like this happy thing is wild. And then the idea of like getting in a group of people and then you like all like bring yourselves down and the person falls. It's just like, this is just like one that has easy actions to it and one that is quite fun and I think memorable for a lot of people. So this one is going to also go in A tier, I think. And in the same vein, Mary Had a Little Lamb. This one, now that I'm saying it out loud, this one feels biblical to me, just because Mary is obviously a very biblical name, and lambs just feel like a very biblical. Am I just realizing now that Mary Had a Little Lamb is Jesus? The little lamb is Jesus because Jesus is the Lamb of God. Holy crap! Did I just realize that now? Wow. Okay. I never really thought about this more beyond my childhood. Just Mary Had a Little Lamb. So we're going to put that in A tier, and we're going to move past the existential crisis that I might go on right now. Next up, we've got 1, 2, Buckle My Shoe, 3, 4, Out the Door, I think is that one. This is another one that's kind of a basic counting one, but doesn't feel like it really had its staying power for me. And there were other counting ones that felt more up my alley, at least as a kid, or ones that felt like I had more, I would prefer to sing more counting ones other than 1, 2, Buckle My Shoe. And this one had a lot of, I feel like, relative to other nursery rhymes, like a decent amount of words to remember and say. And so this one, I think, sadly for me, is going to go in D tier. So sorry, Buckle My Shoe, but there you go. This next one is another great one that has fun actions to it, I think, as a kid, is Patty Cake, Baker's Man, where you do like the, patty cake, I can't remember the Patty Cake, Baker's, whatever, something like this, and then you do, I don't know, but exactly remember this one, but this is one that I definitely remember doing a lot as a kid, and one that you can pretty much like transform into any other thing in a capacity, and one that feels, pretty generic, easy to remember, easy to learn, and ones that people would want to sing, I guess, on the playground back when you were a kid. So I'm going to put this one in S tier. I think Patty Cake, Baker's Man is going to go on in S tier. Then we got Rain, Rain, Go Away. This is one that I think is another one of the more memorable ones on this list, but one that I don't love as much because I actually like the rain. The Rain, Rain, Go Away is a weird one because I hit a point in my life where I was like, oh, I actually like really enjoy rain and what it brings and the life it brings. And I don't know, to me, it's calming and I really enjoy it. And probably because I lived in one of the most precipitous places in the world for 4 years in Vancouver. But I like Rain, Rain, Go Away. It's pretty memorable, but for me, I don't want it to go away, so I'm going to put it in at least B tier. Then we got Ring Around the Roses, whatever, a pocket full of poses, a pocket full of posies, ashes, ashes, we all fall down, something like that. This is another one where you like, kind of everyone is in a circle and you like, you dance around in one direction and then at the end you all fall, and you go, ah, and someone's in the middle, I think for some reason, and does something. Again, I can't remember a lot. I didn't really do a ton of remembering of these. I kind of just was going off my memory, but this is one that I believe is actually about the Black Death, the plague in the whatever era of European history. And so this is an interesting one, and so this one has another like dark history to it, and so this one I think is going to go in B tier for me. Up next, we've got I don't know if these are all rounds, but this is at least the one that I remember the most specifically as a specifically called a round of row, row, row your boat, where when you start at some point that after you've like gone through the second line, the next person starts to go like row, row, row your boat. And then like when you're done at that point, you keep going, but the next person goes row, row, and then you're like everyone's singing at the same time kind of thing. And this one, again, felt like one that you learn as a kid early on when you're in some music class, just to kind of figure out what rounds are and just a way to teach music theory to some extent. And so I think that's at its core, that's what nursery rhymes are really for. And so this is an S tier for me, baby. Up next, we've got She'll Be Coming Around the Mountain. This is one that I feel is deeply American. I could be very wrong about this, but I feel like when I moved back up into Canada, I never heard this song ever again. Like, she'll be coming around the mountain when she comes. Like, it just feels very Americanized. It's probably about the settlers moving from east to west in America and settling Western America, Western United States. But this is one that I think is a little bit more localized to where you are, and so this one I think is going to get a C tier for me. This is one that I didn't really realize was a nursery rhyme, but this is the alphabet song. Apparently, this is a nursery rhyme. Just the basic A, B, C, D, E. This is like, I guess it makes sense to be a nursery rhyme, and this has to be like S tier. This has to be like the best. I'm not organizing them, but like this has to be like the S of S tier, because like this is what nursery rhymes are. They're meant to convey something and or be a memory or a mnemonic device, and this is like just the most core at its root what a nursery rhyme is supposed to do. And so I think the alphabet song, if it is a nursery rhyme, if we're counting it as one, absolutely has to be S tier. The Muffin Man is the next one. It can look like the baker's one, but this is the Muffin Man. Do you know the Muffin Man? The Muffin Man that lives on Drury Lane or something like that. This is one that I did they do this in Shrek? I cannot remember, but this one feels like it had more to it and a weird, like, again, this to me felt like it had some other connotation that wasn't necessarily so cheery and happy, which I think a lot of nursery rhymes are. But this is one that I think is a little bit more forgettable for me, and so this one's going to go in C tier, I think. Then our penultimate one is The Wheels on the Bus Go Round and Round, the classic song that when you kind of first go on a bus at some point in your life, if you ever do go on a bus to school, everyone just sings. Like, this is absolutely this one. And then the bottles of beer on the wall or pop on the wall, that one is another one, popular one. But yeah, Wheels on the Bus Go Round and Round, round and round. Round and round, like that's just this is like peak nursery rhyming here. So this is also going in A tier. And finally, the last nursery rhyme I wanted to talk about here is Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. How I wonder what you are. This is another one that, for me, has a lot of personal meaning because my Nana used to do this on our backs, and so this is one I fell asleep to all the time. But this one also, I just feel like, is an absolute classic. This is probably one that maybe even started my love for space. I guess I don't really talk about it ever on the channel, but I have a huge fascination with space. I would never go, but I love learning about all things space related, and I feel like this is probably one of the ones that one of the reasons I started to love space so much. But so Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, absolutely S. I would say this is probably my number 2 after the alphabet song. If I had to do like a top, if I had to do like my top 5 here, I think it would be the alphabet song, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, Itsy Bitsy Spider, Row 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 Your Boat, and Pat a Cake, Baker's Man would be my top 5 nursery rhymes of all time. But yes, let me know what you guys think of this list, of this tier list of nursery rhymes. Are there songs that should have been on here? I'm curious to know the nursery rhymes that you remember as a child most, and what had the most kind of impact on you, and stuff that you remember, from your childhood. I'm very curious to hear in the comment section below. But other than that, I will now go, at least in the future, go sing some of these nursery rhymes to my little daughter. So with that being said, I'm Dakota from Bowtied Media, and I'll see you guys in another video.